Well, I would like to welcome our guests here. Today, we're going to have a very, very interesting webinar event by the US-Qatar Business Council in collaboration with the Qatar Development Bank. I know that we started going live and participants are logging in right now. So you'll be hearing me for a few seconds to make sure that everyone is actually logged in. But I'll start by thanking Qatar Development Bank in working with us in organizing this event. A little bit unique in nature, this event, than the usual things that US-Qatar Business Council hosts. This is to promote the Qatari exports to the United States, the manufacturing in Qatar, the production in Qatar, in the recent years has been tremendous, up to the point where Qatar is exporting its products. It's very competitive, high quality materials and products has been exported. A lot of exports as well to the United States. We want to see more of that in the near future. As well, something fascinating is many of these companies, and what you will hear today, actually small, medium-sized companies as well. There is the big ones, but there's also small, medium-sized companies, because Qatar Development Bank help a lot of these companies in succeeding and producing. And as we all know, the US always export to Qatar a lot of products. The trade surplus is in the US advantage. One of the few countries that the trade balance that we have here in the US actually in advantage to the United States. Billions of dollars every year is exported from the United States to Qatar, which helped a lot of American jobs, a lot of American companies, the American economy. But as well, having a reliable partner like Qatar, as we always see with their involvement with us across the Middle East and in the international arena, having that reliable partner when we actually import in the United States is also important. Relying on reliable partners with agreements, their interest in our interest in the United States. These always provide very, very important secure sources to US buyers, which we will be talking about today. And we have a very interesting guests with us today. First, we have Mr. Fahad Al-Dosari, Qatar Commercial Attaché to the United States, based in Washington, D.C. The first Qatar Commercial Attaché in the United States. He's been with us for a few years now in the US, and been tremendous, great job and a delight to work with. And on behalf of Qatar Development Bank today, we have as well Mr. Stefan from Rollenberger. They work with Qatar Development Bank and the Qatari exporters in doing matchmaking, understanding the US market, and knowing what Qatar has to offer in terms of products. As well, he is joined by Andreas Becker from as well Rollenberger, that works closely with the entities on the products and the availabilities. So we're gonna have a very, very great information shared with us today. I see that the number of participants has went up to almost what we were expecting initially. So with this introduction, I wanted to just end my introduction to say the US-Qatar Business Council, an entity based in Washington, D.C., with an office in Qatar, in Doha, to work with the Qatari partners and with the Qatari companies. We work to help and assist American companies doing business in Qatar, but as well looking into what is the Qatari investments do in the United States? How does it help? And with this new, I would say, way of presenting what Qatar can also offer in terms of products, that's something that the US-Qatar Business Council is excited to present to the American companies. We work in the US, we're a US entity in DC, and everything that we see that could help American companies in a way or another, is always exciting for us. So we look forward to see a lot of you engaging with the Qatari partners and the providers. I want to start by asking Fahad Al-Dosari will give us today some few remarks about the relationship and the business relationship between the US and Qatar. Fahad?
Thank you, Mohammed. Friends and colleagues, first I would like to thank the US-Qatar Business Council for organizing this event. And thank you all for joining us. I know these have been challenging times for all of us during the pandemic, and I sincerely appreciate your time and attention. Despite the difficulties we face, the Qatar-US economic partnership remains a clear bright spot for our countries. Our bilateral trade has never been greater, and our investments in each country support tens of thousands of jobs. Even with this success, tremendous opportunities remains. It is for this reason that I welcome our event today as a chance to help this already strong relationship continue to grow. Indeed, Qatar's export to the United States have grown steadily for years, and in 2019 amounted to 1.7 billion in value. But this total, while impressive, represents just a fraction of the potential of this aspect of our relationship. Qatar's economy has undergone rapid development in recent decades. Through that development, the capacity of our private sector, particularly our small and medium-sized enterprises, has begun to grow. Qatari companies today offer a range of exceptional and innovative products, ranging from plastics and chemicals to construction materials and metals to health supplies, including COVID-related supplies and electronics that have significant potential in the US market. The unique advantages Qatari companies enjoy, such as Qatar's low cost of electricity and easy access to ample resources and skilled labor, make Qatar's products tremendously competitive globally. Qatari exports also benefit from guaranteed access to financing through Qatar's banks, providing their customers with certainty and security. US customers can also be assured that the government of Qatar is committed to supporting the success of these companies. Small and medium-sized enterprises are critical to achieving the economic diversification and development objectives of our National Vision 2030. Qatari companies are eager to bring more of these products to the US and welcome the opportunity to work with the firms in the United States, who we in Qatar see not only as an important economic partner, but as a true friend. In Qatar, I can assure you that you will find companies committed to creating lasting, reliable partnerships. Through this exchange, I'm confident that we will be able to further mature our already strong economic ties and with them, the deep bond between our nations. I look forward to our discussion today to help advance that process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fahad, very much for these remarks. It's interesting to highlight some of the industries and the products coming from there. I'm going to go from there, from Fahad to a very important message from Qatar Development Bank CEO, Mr. Abdulaziz bin Nasser Al Khalifa, the CEO of Qatar Development Bank, that they work closely on the export programs from Qatar. We have this video message recorded by him. We have, as we know, the time difference between here and Qatar. but we're all looking forward to hear from him, and I would like to have the message coming from Mr. Abdulaziz right now.
On behalf of Qatar Development Bank, it's my pleasure to cordially invite you to join our virtual matchmaking with Qatari exporters, which aims to connect you with Qatari small and medium enterprises and large corporations to explore business opportunities between both of you. For years, the United States has been a strong partner of Qatar, and diverse business relations already exist. And now, after several years of diversification and growth across all sectors, our young and growing private sector is ready to partner and share experiences with the US market. So, if you are looking for new partners, our virtual matchmaking is made for you. Qatar Development Bank, vital contributions to the growth of Qatari economy, which builds on our government's visionary plans and actions, is driven by its commitment to creating a sustainable, diverse, and competitive economy with success-driven small and medium enterprises in the private sector at its core. In our endeavor to support the private sector with value-added services, we have carefully studied the needs of Qatari business owners, and we have looked closely at a number of dynamic markets of Qatari companies. It is against this backdrop that I encourage you to seize the opportunity of participating in virtual matchmaking with our companies. Under the current COVID-19 restrictions, we are confident it is the optimum channel to conduct well-structured business-to-business meetings in a secure environment that help us all prepare for the future and bring the international economy back on track. We're very excited to have you with us on our virtual matchmaking over the coming weeks, and wish you fruitful discussions with our Qatari exporters, as well as many new and rewarding business relations. Thank you and stay safe.
I would like to, of course, thank Abdulaziz Al-Khalifa for his message to us and the giving the information for our audience and the American partners that they will work with the Qatari exporters to highlight a lot of these growing opportunities with the state of Qatar. It's as he said, it's great to see these potential growing, specifically during these COVID-19 times, as we say. We see a lot of this happening now virtually, but this is also another source of products coming from Qatar, specifically when we all in the US realize that COVID-19 in many cases affected the supply routes and the sourcing. So Qatar always maintained this in many ways through the ports, the shipping, the airline. Actually, that one, Qatar Air was one of the airlines that continued to support the United States, moving people, moving products during these tough times. So it's always a reliable partner. And from here, I want to go to our panelists today, that they will give you information on what is the Qatari has to offer and the exporters. And it's an export presentation that will be delivered by Stefan today. Stefan, I'm looking forward to see a lot of these exciting opportunities for the American companies. So please.
Thank you very much, Mohammed, for the kind introduction and also for hosting this important webinar. And we are honored and pleased to provide you with more information about these Qatari exporters. For those of you who don't know Rollenberger, let me just summarize in one sentence. Rollenberger is a top 5 global management consultancy across all sectors with more than 50 offices in 35 countries, several of those in the US, where we are strong and advising many US companies, and also one office in Qatar. And we have been commissioned by the Qatar Development Bank to help them in their efforts to promote Qatari exports in the world. And in the framework of this support, we have carefully analyzed the export potential of Qatari companies and have found many very strong ones beyond the oil and gas sector, which Qatar is most known for. And as Mohammed rightfully said, there are many very innovative, strong SMEs in there. We have also assessed several key markets to export to, and especially the US as one of the most attractive export markets. And then we have identified the potential there, looked for suitable importers and distributors, and have reached out already to many US companies that are interested in importing Qatari products. Next slide, please. And there, as you see on the agenda of today's webinar, after the introductory remarks and the video message, now we are going to show you a bit what kind of products Qatari exporters are offering and what the benefits are for importing from Qatar. This is what I'm going to cover. After this, Andreas will talk about how to use the B2Match platform for virtual matchmaking, which has already worked really well and brought many US importers and Qatari exporters together. And then we'll have Q&A and closing remarks, so to make best use of this time. Next slide, please. And now let's look at the Qatari companies, and especially the 6 sectors that we have identified. First and foremost, there is the petrochemical products and plastic products, where Qatar is traditionally very strong in, and there we have identified a range of very strong companies ready to export. We also have metal products, which are very competitive, construction materials, and then also industrial products, electronics, and last but not least, also recently several Qatari suppliers of COVID-19 materials. And this is also important that Qatar has proven to be very quick to react in the current COVID crisis. And as Mohammed mentioned, not only Qatar Airways, but also many Qatari companies that have been supplying the US in these difficult times. Now let's go a bit more into detail, and from those companies, let's look into actual products. Next slide, please. Because there we can see these product categories, and if it's a bit too small to read, maybe for some of you, don't worry about the details. We'll send it around to you so that you can see everything in detail. I'm just going to highlight a few things. Within the petrochemical products group, there we have catalysts, PP polymers, soaps and detergents, and also from plastics, packaging materials from PE. So these are some really strong products. And what is important to note that for Qatari exporters enjoy relatively low import duties, and that also this is quite price competitive, besides the high quality that they're offering. And they are obviously different for each of the categories, so we'll not go into details here. But for you, it's important to know that we have found them to be quite price competitive. So it's a very good idea to compare them to products that you are currently importing, and especially to Chinese imports, because due to the ongoing trade conflicts, there have been additional tariffs and import is being levied, and this is difficult for some, and you might have had a few procurement and value chains affected by this, but this is also a new opportunity, because this gives you the chance to look for additional or new suppliers to have more options and a solid base. And beyond the chemical products, also metal products, there's a lot to offer, especially unwrought aluminium and aluminum foil. Here, also Qatar is not exempt from the tariffs on aluminum, but there are many efforts being currently undertaken, and also in relative terms, Qatari exports, that we have found, are quite attractive, not only in quality but also in price. The same relates to construction materials, where also, depending on the different age codes, the import duties are also relatively low. On the next slide, there we can see industrial products. and notably valves, taps, and hooks, then also oil tubings, medical syringes, gaskets, seals, and joints. These are all industrial products in quite high demand. And here we see the same picture, that currently, due to the additional taxes on imports from China, many US importers are currently recalibrating their supplier base, and they are being forced to reconsider and to replace some Chinese suppliers, and their Qatari companies would be quite an attractive option to be considered and step in. So we really encourage you to check these product categories and see what would be eligible for you. Qatar has a lot to offer there. The same applies to electronics, electronic boards and panels, electric capacitors, heat exchangers, and also electric generating sets. All of them have traditionally a high import share from China, and also here, due to the ongoing trade conflicts, the import weights are shifting, and it is worth considering Qatari imports also in this part. So to summarize it here, we see a lot of opportunities, and on the next page, we have summarized for you why we would recommend for US companies to consider such sourcing from Qatar. What we have seen, and as a global consultancy, we can compare this quite well across the world. These Qatari products are really quite innovative, high quality, and a strong SME base, also due to the world-class education system that we can see there. Qatar has really built a reputation over the years, and now Qatari exporters are more and more successful competing on world markets. The second argument that we see in favor are really committed vendors. And as Mohammed and Fahad said in their entering remarks, this is in the times of crisis, what we have seen, and we work for many clients in this regard, that Qatari exporters have been very reliable in crisis times, keeping supply chains running and serving their clients abroad, even in very difficult times when logistics and trade gets more and more difficult. A third argument that should be well noted is Qatar's reputation and strong track record as an investor in the US. Yeah? And might be interesting for some of you that also Qatari investments are happening across the US in many sectors, and that there might be also new opportunities for you arising if you could benefit from investments from Qatar in one field or the other. And last but not least, these strong ties between Qatar and the US politically, but especially economically, have been growing over the past 50 years. And so your company, by importing from Qatar, would also benefit from privileged access. And with this, I'd like to pass it back to Mohammed, and maybe you could also comment from your side, from the US-Qatar Business Council, why you see Qatari exporters so well placed to be chosen by US companies for imports. I think you need to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Stefan. Appreciate that. Let me first say that just looking quickly on these slides that you shared with us, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities there, a lot of products that the Qatari exporters offer. And on that, I mean, what Qatar offers, as you mentioned, as it's written in your as well slides, one of the most important parts that any industry and any company in the United States would like to always avoid is interruption of their trade or their supplies. And with the Qatari suppliers, Qatari exporters into the United States, we know that these supplies will flow all the time because there is a commitment. I mean, if you want to compare even small things, maybe not towards the United States, but even with Qatar, and as we all know, the blockade that happened on Qatar by some of its neighboring countries, these exports from Qatar, the gas supplies from Qatar to countries that actually no longer working with Qatar continue to flow. if anything, this shows how committed these vendors in providing their customers, no matter what the political atmosphere is, with what they need. And if we come to the United States, the US and Qatar has this very long, good, outstanding relationship, friendship, in a way, a great business relationship. The trade, that numbers, as we mentioned earlier, it's very, very high from the United States being exported from here to Qatar. Now, these vendors from Qatar offering the American companies, the American market, an opportunity to get, again, good quality products, committed to always ship on time. It's not looking to be a country where the political winds changes that. So that's something that you'll, as an importer in the United States, as a buyer, I'll say you'll sleep sound at night knowing that in the morning that your supplier actually still provide you these products. You're not going to worry about it. And again, many of the things that you indicated goes into a process. It goes into the supply chain. So if you rely on aluminum to create or to manufacture something, you will know that you're always going to have that aluminum. You always know that the vendor is not going to try to change the contracts last minute because they know you need it. Working with the Qataris, honestly, and a lot of American companies have told us this in the past, they know that they keep their word. And if there's a contract, if they give you their word, they're always going to keep it. So you'll know that no one is going to try to squeeze you at the end, and there is no political wind that will change that in a way or another. And hopefully, I mean, we're looking forward, hopefully in the near future, that Qatar will have a free trade agreement with the United States. That would be very helpful to the American buyers, knowing that also some of these tariffs don't apply and so on. But as you mentioned, Stefan, the pricing is very competitive, and that could actually, mitigate a lot of these price differences. So the relationship is strong. It continued to be strong. Tie that to that the Qataris are not just sending products to the United States. Actually, the balance is towards the United States. The investments that we always talked about, you had in your presentation, this tell you that these investors, Qataris, are also interested in the growth of the US economy and the growth of the market in the United States. If anything, they want to know that if they're providing products and they are being part of the supply chain for American buyers, they will see that hand in hand with the growth of their investment. Your success is also their success. And that's very critical when it applies to this trade relationship. We're looking to see this growing. As I said, Qatar started, one of the first commercial attaches in Qatar had is in the United States. That tells you that there is a commitment. There is more offices, more people involved in pushing this relationship. They have on consulates that also work on advancing the business relationship spread across the United States. If anything, again, for Qatar, it shows you that this is a commitment to this market, and their suppliers are committed. A couple of years ago, we had a roadshow across the United States. We had almost 200 Qatari businessmen that came and they traveled with us across the United States. We covered 4 states, several cities, and they met with their partners. So if anything, that again shows you that your partners are there for you, and they will be there for you when you need them. I'm very, very looking forward to see this growth in the relationship, hopefully by more buyers actually sourcing from a reliable partner like Qatar and all their ties. These are great opportunities. I want to say, and I assume a lot of people know that, but looking at this presentation, that everyone here, we will have US-Qatar Business Council working with our partners here. We will have this presentation and this video recorded and circulated for you. There will be contacts. And I know that I'm going to go back to Stefan because I know that there's a few things more to share in here, and then probably talk more about that platform that you can utilize as well. Stefan?
Thank you very much, Mohammed, for underlining this so well, and from your perspective and all your great work you're doing at the US-Qatar Business Council, it really shows your experience in this. How does it work concretely to get in touch with Qatari exporters? And here my colleague Andreas is the best one to tell you, as he has been working for the last months directly with US importers and Qatari exporters. Andreas, please.
Yes. Warm welcome also from my side. I'm a colleague of Stefan, working for Rollenberger, and as Stefan mentioned, I've been working closely with Qatar Development Bank over the past few months, setting up the matchmaking and facilitating it. And I would like to present you the matchmaking platform that we're using and its functionalities. It's called B2Match. You received the link in the invitation. You can also see it here on the screen. And as we will also be sharing the presentation with you again after the webinar, you'll have the link. B2Match is an independent platform. They do both physical matchmaking, and now in times of a global pandemic, of course, virtual matchmaking is becoming quite popular. And this is an ongoing event that started in July, and it will run until the end of November. And you see here the landing page. You can go to right now if you like, or after the webinar. Very importantly, we would like as many of you as possible, if you are an interested company, to register. You will see the register button. On the website itself, you can read more again about Qatari export promotion. You can watch the video again that we saw earlier by the CEO of Qatar Development Bank. But probably more practically useful to you is what I'm going to show you next, which is the so-called marketplace. It's very easy to find on the B2Match platform. Even when you haven't registered yet, you can browse the marketplace. And the marketplace is the place where Qatari companies offer their products, their services, they describe them in detail, so that you can make sure you really speak to the right people, you look for the right people, you don't waste your time, you don't waste their time, but you really know what you will be getting if you start talking to these Qatari companies. So that's already, you go into those matchmaking meetings with a lot of information. As you can see here from the screenshot, obviously because most of the Qatari companies participating in the matchmaking are manufacturers, so it's mostly about products. But there are also some offers for services, partnerships, or they offer the expertise, or they have specific requests. But as I mentioned, most importantly, you will have products from all the product categories that we saw earlier. Now, if you do decide, if you do go through all the products and you realize there are relevant products for you and you do register, then after registration, more functionalities open up for you. You can see more details about the people who represent these companies. You can see their profiles. You can message them directly. And most importantly, also, you can request meetings. It's quite a sophisticated meeting request function, yet very easy to handle. You simply pick the duration of the meeting you want. Typically, it's 15 or 30 minutes. You pick a date, you pick a time, and it's indicated in your time zone for which you're registered. And it will also show you the time of your potential matchmaking partner, to make sure you're not requesting, because of the time difference, to make sure you're not requesting a meeting, during way outside regular business hours, but so that you find a slot that's convenient both to the US and Qatar. We've experienced that in theory, this works very well, but these days you get so many email notifications, and every time you request a meeting here, the other side will get an automatic notification. Sometimes you don't read it fast enough, sometimes you overlook it. So what we do as Rollenberger is we keep track of what's happening on the platform. We don't read your messages, don't worry, but we do see when there are meeting requests. We do see when there is one side trying to initiate contact and the other side is not responding. What we do then is that we contact the American and the Qatari companies directly to make sure the meetings can go ahead swiftly. And we've also experienced that for some people, because of corporate security settings, the meeting itself on B2Match is sometimes blocked. So what we do as a workaround solution, we use our system that we use at our company, which also has very strict IT settings. We use Microsoft Teams. I know that in the US, Zoom is more popular, but Teams, you can simply join through a browser. You don't need to download the program, the software, the app. And it's proven very, very reliable for the past few meetings for both sides, Qataris and US companies. But we do prefer to schedule the meetings through this function because then we can keep track and you see the times for which you have scheduled meetings as well. And last but not least, you know, it's not a one-way street. Once you register, you can, of course, also, and you should, present your company, your services, your products, for two reasons. One, it will help the Qatari side when you request a meeting. It will help them better understand what you're looking for. You don't have to put it into a message every single time. And on the other hand, they can look for you in a better way because they will find more information about your company, and then they can initiate meeting requests if they think they have a product or service that is of interest to you. And of course, beyond the immediate buyer and seller interaction, it's also a great opportunity to explore more long-term partnerships. We know it's a tough time for a lot of companies. Many companies are not looking to expand their supplier base immediately. But you know, with a view of things improving again, you can just use this matchmaking also to establish contacts for the future, also with a view to investment, be it US investment in Qatar or Qatari investment in the US. So we encourage you to make also full use of that functionality to present your company and what you're looking for to create your own profile. And that's basically it for the platform. And now I hand back to Mohammed for our Q&A. Any questions you may have about what we've discussed about or what we haven't discussed about.
Thank you, Andreas. What a fascinating platform to utilize. And then you said it clearly in Stefan as well. In these times that we don't get to meet sometimes face-to-face with our potential customers and or suppliers or clients, having these platforms and utilizing these platforms is just one step closer to the personal meeting. But I mean, in many cases as well, because of the distance that we have between the countries these days, between Qatar and the United States, these platforms offer a real solid way to talk to your client face-to-face almost, or communicate with them, getting your responses, knowing what's there and who's there and what they offer. It's great. And as you said, we're going for Q&A, questions and answers. And if anyone from the audience have any questions, they can use the Q&A down in this platform to submit their questions, and we'll see it. One first question, Andreas and as well Stefan, that came about this is the question says, is there any cost involved in utilizing this matchmaking platform? Any fees first to utilize this platform, to be on this platform? And then the second part of the question is there any charge if business take place actually on this matchmaking platform?
I think I can answer that very easily. For the American companies and for the Qatari companies, there is no cost whatsoever, neither to participate nor when a business deal is concluded. This is fully sponsored by the Qatar Development Bank. And the matchmaking platform is completely independent. They are providing this as a service. They don't represent any other interests. And as I said, you can do one meeting, you can do several meetings, you can send multiple messages, no message, and whatever comes out of it, the US companies and the Qatari companies don't have to pay anything at all.
That's a great news. I mean, so the platform is there, it's complimentary, available. I mean, Qatar Development Bank, you said, is sponsoring it for both parties, the Qataris and Americans. This is, as in the United States, it's like when they always say, you know, it's there's no strings attached. It's a platform, call, reach, use it, and no pressure, as they always say on this side. So why not actually meet your buyers and use this matchmaking platform to talk directly with these potential exporters from Qatar to provide you, you know, products, opportunities to establish new trade routes. And why not? You know, if I may ask, I mean, do you, Stefan and Andreas, question is both to you. This is from me, and I'm taking the opportunity that I'm moderating today to ask this question. Do you see there is a reason that an American buyer, American sourcer, that not to actually look into the opportunity to source from Qatar, even if they are sourcing from China, even if they are sourcing from Vietnam, even if they're sourcing from anywhere? Do you see there is any conflict in them actually maybe looking into that opportunity to maybe source from Qatar, or could it be actually complementary?
I think Stefan,
Thanks for the good question. I'm really deeply convinced that it is really beneficial for US importers to look into that opportunity. The ones that have already done so have had very good experiences, as we discussed before, the reliability, the quality of the products, and especially in volatile times, in times of risk and COVID and many changes in the world, to have a supplier base, not to be dependent on one supplier, but to have a broader supplier base. And in this group of suppliers, to have included reliable and also innovative suppliers from Qatar is highly recommendable. Obviously, there are not suppliers for every product category, and so you should look carefully which products would be interesting for you. But what we can see from an international consultancy perspective, these are really innovative products and worth checking out. The ones that have done so have been already very engaging, and the first business deals have already been struck. So in that sense, we have high hopes that this is a momentum that will be growing.
Thank you, Stefan. This is great. Yes, why not? You know, if I can actually have an alternative, potentially maybe good, great. Agree with you. This sounds like a win-win situation. I have another quick question that came through. Is there, have these Qatari companies had experience exporting to the United States before? Do they, or they're new to the market, or are they all new, old? How is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me quickly take that. All of these companies are successful exporters, but mostly in their region and to Europe and to Asia. Most of them are fairly new to the American market, which has pros and cons. Obviously, they also need to find their feet, and and Qatar Development Bank is helping, is fully supporting them, and we have together selected really the best ones who are ready to enter the very competitive US market. Those whom we have selected, we believe they are very strong and very capable, and as I said, they are very successful in exporting to many other markets already. So this step to the US is not a small one, but I think they are ready for it, and you will be pleased to find out yourself how competitive these companies are.
That's great. I mean, it's good to know. I mean, they do have the exporting experience. So you said it, there's the cons could be like, you could start working with someone that is not yet, you know, involved with other people in here. Maybe you're going to be the first as an American working on buying products in here. That's an advantage in many ways. So we look into it. I know I was lagged that we're getting over time with our webinar. So if you have any more questions, you can always utilize the information, the contact information that's provided through the presentations. And as well through the US-Qatar Business Council. You can go online as well, reach out to us to connect you with the Qatar Development Bank and many others. Let me thank you, Stefan, Andreas, and as well Fahad, the Dosari Commercial Attaché in the United States, and as well Abdulaziz bin Nasser Al-Khalifa, the CEO of Qatar Development Bank, for putting this together to help us actually expose the American companies to the potential new market for them to actually source from Qatar, a long list of opportunities, a long list of products that is provided. We saw some of it today covered in this presentation. So please reach out to them, utilize the business matchmaking platform that is provided complementary to the importers and the exporters for both countries. And why not to see a new source of your own products and supply and add it to your supply chain. Reach out to them, use the platform. Again, complimentary offered by QDB. Get more information on the market. If you need more information on the market, reach out to us, Qatar Development Bank, Stefan and Andreas. I'm volunteering you here, but please, if I believe that they will be more than happy. They told you they have done an extensive research on the US market and on the Qatari market. So they have the knowledge, and it all feeds into that. Potentially, I believe the platform will help you that. US-Qatar Business Council would like to see this relationship grow. We want to see more American companies using reliable sources in the manufacturing process. And if anything, the manufacturing is a core of the United States, and that helps a lot when you have a reliable partner like Qatar offering you these products and in your manufacturing process, as much as they also buy from the United States. So you know, things go back and forth, but the US still have the balance in their advantage. And the Qataris are committed to see the success in this. Adding to that, the US-Qatar Business Council will be having a business portal that will give you more information state by state on this. We will integrate some of this information that we heard today down the road as well. But I think the first thing that we all should do, if you hear this recording or you're with us today live, is to utilize that business platform, go on board, check it out, reach out to them, talk to some of these exporters from Qatar. And if anything, the guys are on standby to help and assist. Again, we thank everyone with us today. And thanks our great speakers for taking the time to share an exciting opportunity for everyone. And I personally, Mohammed Barakat from here, thank you on behalf of US-Qatar Business Council both in the United States and in Qatar. Enjoy your day.